Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning over there.
We shot the lights out to play. The Los Angeles Lightning. Because we lit up Toronto. Lit them up.
They were playing back-to-back without Kyle Lowry, without Fred VanVleet, and you're going to boast about that?
Oh, I'm glad they had it back.
That's just pathetic.
That's why we was putting our foot in them so good, because
really?
they had it back to us.
By the way, before I hand it back to Jenny, I have a quick update.
Oh.
Okay.
You will remember on Monday's show that Michael Rappaport referred to his dog Wheezy.
Yes.
And Lil Wayne hit me yesterday and said, hit me right after the show on Monday and said, hey, does he really have a dog named Wheezy? So I hit Michael Rappaport yesterday, and he said, yes, indeed. It wasn't part of his shtick or his routine.
Right.
He has a dog named Wheezy, so named because he purchased said dog in the state of Louisiana. Wayne is from New Orleans, so it was a tribute to Lil Wayne. Congratulations.
Don't nobody want to pet Wheezy, because they don't like his owner now.
How does Wayne feel about it? He's fine with that? He's fine with it? He doesn't mind the name? Okay.
He's okay with it.
Can we get Wayne back on the show? I miss him around here.
Yes.
Hopefully soon. I think he might have plenty to say
He's
about
still
this.
licking wounds over what happened at Lambeau.
I didn't bring it up.
Exactly.
Oh, actually, we need to start by talking about your team, Skip, the Cowboys, because Pro Football Focus released their grades for the best position groups in the NFL, and the Cowboys were named the team with the best wide receivers. PFF pointed to Dak's injury as the only thing that held back the trio of Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper last year, and that those three could help lead Dallas to be one of the better offenses in 2021. Now that Prescott is back under center, Shannon, how do you feel about this? Do you agree?
No, Skip, we go through this every year. Pro Football Focus does this every single year with the Dallas Cowboys. They have the most talented offensive line. They have the most talented this. They have the most talented that. And what does it get them? Skip, in 2007, the Dallas Cowboys had 11 players selected to the Pro Bowl. 11 of the 22 of the 53-man roster. 11 of them were Dallas Cowboys. How far did it get them? To the divisional round, because remember they had a first round bye. Eli Manning went down there and beat the brakes off them.
Were they not heavily favored to win that game? Yes, they were.
So
did Eli go beat the brakes off everybody else in his way?
Yes, he did. Yes, but let me ask you a question. But were the Dallas Cowboys talented? Now, you can make a case, Skip, I understand CeeDee Lamb, but they make it seem like Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb had a very good season the year before. It's just that Houston Texans paid him a lot more money than the Cowboys were willing to give him, and he took his talent, I think, is Houston south of Dallas or north of Dallas?
South.
South of Dallas, okay.
You know that.
No, Skip,
You get mixed up about that?
I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Texas.
Okay.
So with that being...
I have.
With that being said, Skip, I just don't get okay, they were talented the year before. So what did it get them? They were talented last year. What did it get them? I can make a case that Tampa wide receivers are every bit, if not better.
You could make that case. I would agree.
Minnesota, they make it seem like Minnesota got fettuccine or the Falcons. So Julio, Calvin Ridley. Really? Oh, I don't care whoever else the other guy is. It doesn't even matter. So, Skip, I don't get this. We do this every year. So what happened when Dak had Michael Gallup and Amari and Randall Cobb? What did he get them? 8-8. Now, if these guys are as talented as they say they are, it shouldn't even matter who the quarterback is. Bring him along. If you what they say you are, so talented, a trio, Skip, not one. I can see if it's just one guy, because, okay, we're going to double him. You got three guys. You can't double everybody. And what did they get them? 6 and 10. Got them picking in the, 10th spot? Wow. So talented. Man, they need to start, look. Every year, Pro Football Focus come out with some little mundane little stat. Oh, CeeDee Lamb numbers are better than what they show. No. We don't do that. What do the numbers show? They've never come out with a stat that says Carson Wentz numbers are better than what they appear to be. Sam Darnold numbers are better than what they appear to be. His numbers are what they are. That's what Skip tells me every year. His QBR, that QBR is bad. The Dallas Cowboys, all this talent. So that should tell you something, Skip. With all this talent every year, they'd be 8-8, 6 and 10, and missing the playoffs and no Super Bowl. So what does that tell you about them? I guess they're not as talented as everybody say they are.
So are you suggesting that Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, somehow has some kind of cowboy bias operating?
Yeah, Skip, you know what? Jared's not going to do them like he did me, take me out to Christmas left, not send me in the ornament. But they good. You good.
So you think they get a lot of Christmas ornaments up there?
We get a lot of them.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. You probably get some, too.
I don't ever get one.
Yeah, you do. I better come by there and see.
I wrote 3 books on my Dallas Cowboys that a whole lot of Cowboy fans did not like. So I qualify as an objective Cowboy fan.
Okay.
I have proven it in print time and time again. I've proven it in word on this show time and time again. When they play poorly, I speak of them very poorly.
What about when your quarterback plays poorly?
That's the point. And by the way, thank you for bringing that up. That is my biggest takeaway from this new ranking of these wide receivers. Now the pressure is just heaped and heaped and heaped on the quarterback, who just got paid the biggest signing bonus in the history of professional football. He just got paid the most guaranteed money in the history of professional football.
75.
It's $126 million guaranteed over the lifetime.
75 this year alone in 2021.
He makes $75 million. I thought it was going to help that he counted only 22.2 against the cap, but that didn't seem to get us anywhere on defense because, silly me, I truly bought into the fact that Jerry could go get 2 made men to bolster the defense that sorely needed help. And instead, it was a bunch of no-name bargain basement bin signings that did little to nothing for me, all the way down to Keanu Neal, who once made a Pro Bowl in 2017, and he tore his Achilles, then he ripped his ACL, and he doesn't run well enough to play safety anymore, so he is now transitioning to linebacker for my Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
He was once the 17th overall pick, and he's still a young man.
Yes.
But what has he got left? I hope a lot. Can he at least shore up the run defense that was second worst in the league last year? Should have been first worst, but the Texans were such a disaster. They somehow beat them out for first worst in run stopping. Okay? So is my defense that much better? I hope so. I told you yesterday, I can't do glass half full. I have to do glasses full. If I go to maximum performance and maximum health on defense, it's barely credible. If I do it on offense, it's explosive. If I get max performance and max health from everybody across the offense, the line, the receivers, the tight end coming back in Blake Jarwin, along with Dalton Schultz, some Zeke and Tony Pollard mixture at running back, and the quarterback has to be back. Dak attack has to be back. If it's back next year, I got a chance to have the most explosive offense in pro football.
Skip.
That's what they're saying right here. But the pressure then, the spotlight, the hot seat goes to the quarterback.
But the last time the Cowboys operated on maximum efficiency on offense was 95. They won the Super Bowl. You've been waiting for this for 25 years. Now, just yesterday, we had the stat that said the Cowboys didn't need, maybe it was an exec, that said the Cowboys didn't need to sign anybody defensively.
They'll be fine.
What was it?
Because all they needed was to re-sign Dak Prescott.
Yes!
Right? Or he occasionally turns in, for me, to Dak Stress-Scott, because it gets pretty stressful watching him. And again, just for the record, in his last 17 starts, he's 6-11. Do I think he's capable of what we saw in 2016 and then the back half of 20? Yes, I do. But I need it. I need him to play Brady-esque. I need him to be Tom Brady next year.
See what you did? I love how you do this, Skip. Now, you go way, way back. When I try to go way, way back, my guys, you talk about what recently. So last 17 games that you saw him play, how was it? The last 17 games that you saw Dak Prescott play.
Well, obviously, he was up and down, but way more down than up. And Shannon Sharp, over the last 13 games of 2019, gave him 7 Fs in 13 games.
Yeah.
And then he played 5 games last year and faithfully, unfortunately, was lost in game number 5, but it was kind of hit and mostly miss in those first 5 games.
Right.
And they fell behind even the Giants 17-3 at home, and they fought back, but then Dak just, it was this freakish and injury. He's as durable as they come, and he was lost. And then these receivers that I'm about to talk about, all three of them had to deal with Andy Dalton and then Ben DiNucci and then Garrett Gilbert. And it was just a cavalcade of misery for me for the whole year. So they had to deal with 4 different quarterbacks.
Well, Andy Dalton went to Pro Bowls with less receiving core.
Yeah.
You told me he made the playoffs 5 times.
Just remember, he got concussed and then he got COVID. Okay, so what a year I had at quarterback. You can't win without a quarterback. And you remember what happened at Washington, concussed, and then he tries to come back and he's COVID. What? I'm done. I'm over and I'm out. So now we go back, and I think it's a very objective grading system that they use for these 3 wide receivers. Yeah, I'll give them a slight edge over Tampa. I'll give them a slight edge over Minnesota. I'll give them a slight edge over Atlanta. I agree with all 3 of your assessments about it's very close with those 3 other groups. We're not talking about the tight ends. We're only talking about the wideouts, okay? So let's go to Michael Gallup. To me, he's the most underrated deep threat in pro football.
He better than Chris Godwin?
On just running past people, yes, he is. Chris Godwin's not a deep threat to me. He's more of middle of the field. He is really good at what he does.
Right.
And he's very hard to deal with. But again, Michael Gallup just runs past people, maybe because he's got the other 2 guys, but he will run past you. And for Exhibit A, can I show you what happened with 34 seconds left on 3rd and 10 in the game, the opener out here at Los Angeles? Do you remember this play? You're writing something down. You got to watch this play.
I saw him. He ran past. He pushed off. That's the push off, right? Is that the push off you talking about?
That is absolutely that is hand fighting on both parts. That is no push off. That is the worst call I saw all year. And that was the turning point of the season for my Dallas Cowboys. That would have set up at least a field goal, which would have set up at least an overtime, and maybe we steal that game at the Rams, and maybe we're off to the races.
So the first game of the year set y'all back for the rest of the year.
Well, was that not a turning point?
It was a pass. He pushed off.
That took my breath away because that was 3rd and 10 at the 34-yard line. That's a 47-yard completion, and you know and I know that was not a push-off. As a former receiver yourself, you would never want that call.
He extended.
He did not extend. Jalen was extending too. That was a reputation call because Jalen Ramsey's the best in the business. Yeah. He's a big, strong corner.
Skip, he got it. Come on, man. Let me go.
Poor Jalen. And he even flopped. Effectively, it was a running flop where he exaggerated. Well, again, who was the throw to? It's the guy who can run past the best corner in pro football, to Michael Gallup. Then what happened after Dak, unfortunately and fatefully, was gone for the season? Andy Dalton steps in. And I kept telling you, Andy Dalton's pretty good, or maybe not bad is the best way to put it. And so what happened late in that game when it looked like they were down and out? Can we see what happened? This happened. Guess who? Michael Gallup. Was that not a throw and a catch?
Yeah, it was a great throw, great catch. But you notice he didn't push the guy off. You see what he did, Skip?
Oh, okay.
There you go. That's all you got to do.
That was probably a better catch than even a throw. And then he comes right back, and he goes bombs away on the next play, and oh, no, that's not the next play. That's still that one. Here we go again. No, we're still seeing the end of that one. But he goes back-to-back with 40 seconds left and then 31 seconds left. He goes bombs away twice to Michael Gallup, which sets up the walk-off field goal, and they win 37-34 and save the season, it seemed, at that point.
Right.
That's that guy. That's Michael Gallup. As underrated a receiver as there is. There's some days I think he's the best receiver on the field of those 3, which brings me to a guy who will become the best receiver, and that is C.D. Lamb. Do you remember the catch that he made at Minnesota? And he made it because he was up against the guy that you were suddenly crowing about, Justin Jefferson, who did have an extraordinary rookie year. But if we could just see this from Andy Dalton. Talk about adjusting to the ball in the air.
So are you going to
Lord have mercy.
Are you going to show the one he dropped in that game and in Washington? Are you going to show that one?
The one at Washington was horrendous.
Are you going to show that? You're going to show that one?
Okay. He's a rookie trying to catch passes from 4 different quarterbacks. And yet, guess what? Out of the slot, he had the 2nd most receiving yards in the league last year to little measly Beasley, once upon a time a Dallas Cowboy, now a Buffalo Bill.
So he can't even be better. Y'all got rid of Measly Beasley for this guy. He can't even be better than Measly Beasley.
Measly Beasley had
with a rap career. He got a burgeoning rap career up in Buffalo.
948 yards out of the slot for little measly Beasley, 877 for C.D. Lamb. I'm not writing him off to become the best receiver in the rookie crop. And again,
better than Jefferson?
That's what I just said. I told you he had an extraordinary rookie year, but we're not over yet. Now it's a sophomore year, and then it's going to be a junior year.
That man had 1,400 yards. Your guy didn't even get 1,000.
Well, my guy is playing with a lot of different quarterbacks except for Kirk Cousins. Did he not have Kirk Cousins the whole year?
You don't like Cousins. You say he an overachiever.
Well, he wings it. They were winging it all over the field, okay? And he did get to play off Adam Thielen, who's a very good receiver.
Hold on. Look at what your guy got. He got 19 and 13 on the outside. He should have had 13, 1,400 yards easily.
All I know is this man is 6'2", 200 pounds, and he will turn into a DeAndre Hopkins before this is over. You know it, and I know it. You saw it last year. This man can beast. This man will become a man this year, and slowly but surely he'll take over as the number one receiver among these three. Well, it's pretty hard to stop it when the number one, the guy who makes $20 million a year, is Amari Cooper, who has only made 4 Pro Bowls in 6 seasons. Is that good? Should have made it last year.
Over who?
Over anybody. If they just had a better record, if Dak had stayed upright the whole year. Look at the year Amari Cooper had last year. It's very underestimated. He had a career-high 92 catches for 1,114 yards. His catch rate was 71%, which is extremely high. Of the targets, he caught 71% of them.
Skip.
Well, that's a year.
I mean,
that's a Pro Bowl year.
Let this sink in for a second, Skip. You talking about he should have made the Pro Bowl, and Julio was down. Julio was hurt half the year. Mike Thomas. So if they guys go, he ain't making the Pro Bowl.
Well, I'm just saying, if they go 10 and 6, does he not make the Pro Bowl with those numbers? You better believe he does.
No.
5 touchdowns.
No.
He had a really good year. So, and by the way, I was all over him for his road woes the year before.
Yeah.
He pretty much righted the wrong of that, especially in those first 2 games at Rams and at Seattle. He caught 10 balls for 81 and 10 balls for 86. So he rose and shone on the road in ways he didn't at New England, at Jets, at Philly in 2019, which was a disaster of a debacle.
Well, let me tell you this, Skip. This is one thing I know for sure, 2 things I know for certain. That come Super Bowl week, for 5 straight years, Super Bowl week, we've had somebody that played for the Dallas Cowboys sit right next to me and you, either here or on location. Now, that's what I do know. Now, teams that players that in the Super Bowl, we've never gotten one of those guys. Why is that? Why, because 5 straight years, a Cowboys player has sat right there, either in the studio or us on location, be it Houston or Miami. Now, I need you to tell me why with all this talent.
Well, obviously, only 2 teams out of 32 make it every
year. Are they one of the 32?
That's pretty hard.
I just need to know, are they one of the 32? Can you tell me that? Are they one of the 32? Yes or no?
All I care about at this moment is that you made another silly bet with me yesterday.
I got this one.
And you bet me that the Cowboys, you gave me the Cowboys against the field.
You gave me the East.
In the least.
Yes, you gave me the East.
You got the least.
Okay.
I'm giving you.
It's the least now.
I'm giving you the football team. I'm giving you the football Giants. I'm even giving you what's left of the Eagles. You can have all
I'm done with
of them.
I'm done with Eagles. After they don't walk into a band, I'm done with it.
And they're the ones that scare me the most because they are the ones with the quarterback who scares me, Jalen Hurts.
Fitz magic.
Yeah, he'll have his moments. He might have his moments against us, but we will win the division.
No, you won't.
And we'll win it because I have the best quarterback in the division. Maybe that's by default. Maybe that's not saying much.
Skip, think about it. For the most part, you guys have had the best quarterback, with the exception of maybe a few years, Eli and Tony Romo. But for the most part, for the better part of a decade, you've had the best quarterback. What has it gotten you? You won the division a handful of times, but no more than the Eagles. You haven't won the division no more than the Eagles since Dak has been there.
Okay. You know how I felt about Tony Romo. It was the Romo coaster that I rode, and it made me sick to my stomach again and again because I would have one spectacular finish and one spectacular failure. Case in point was that 507, 505 that he threw for. And the last throw he made was, unfortunately, to your Broncos.
David Gervais, the pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that thing because Peyton had a little gift walk-off field goal. Thank you very much. Good night.
Skip, but that's what your Cowboys do.
That's what they have done in the past.
No, you keep saying Romo put you on this roller coaster. It's the Cowboy coaster. They get you up and down. They win 3 games in a row, and you go, here we go. You come out here every Monday.
Maybe.
Here we go.
Yep.
And you go right, and then you get, oh, man, I'm done. I'm done with the Cowboys. They win 2 games, and you hop back on just in time to have it run into a building.
What is the saving grace of Dak Prescott's career so far? It's that he has played 3 playoff games, and he has played extremely well in all 3 of them. The record says 1 and 2.
Thank you.
But that wasn't on him. It wasn't like he went Romo and threw 4 picks and lost 2 fumbles.
He threw a bunch of picks in that the Green Bay game, the first game. How he look at his first one? Shaky.
The first playoff game?
First playoff game.
He threw 1 pick because Dez went the wrong way.
Whoa, now you blaming Dez.
Well, it was.
Oh, my God. Why would you do that?
Well, it just was. It was just one of those we're not on the same page interceptions from a rookie to Dez.
The man picked the jailbird screen. He tried to run a screen to Dez, and the guy picked it, and you blamed Dez.
Well, Dez took off and ran the wrong route.
I can't believe you, Skip.
No, he did. But do you remember what happened in that game?
Yes, I
threw
remember.
3 touchdown passes, threw for 302 yards, and came from 21-3 down to 31 all.
Oh, if you don't mind me asking, why was he down 21-3?
Well, the defense didn't show up. They had a bye week. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Skip, you guys have been the number 1
All they
seed.
had to do was win that game and go to Atlanta and beat the. No, Atlanta would have come to them. That's what I'm saying. They're number 1. Atlanta would have come to Dallas. They would have beaten Atlanta. Super Bowl, here we are.
You say
rookie quarterback, rookie running back.
I love the way you say that so matter-of-factly. Well, that was all they had to do. But when have they done that in the last quarter century?
Well, how good is 31 all? How good is Green Bay needed 2 intergalactic field goals, the 2 weirdest looking, shakiest looking field goals I have ever witnessed in a playoff game, 56 yards and 51 yards to beat me. That's what it took for Aaron Rodgers.
It shouldn't have been that, because remember how you was up here crowing? You was up here standing. I remember that it was raining in Green Bay that day. Zeke had run wild on the Packers. Dak had thrown the ball, and you just came in here, you're preening, chest all out, looking all around.
Didn't they?
No. And I told you, I said, Skip, your day coming now. You're gonna have to answer for this one. You would just Jenny, you weren't here at the time, but Jenny, you ought to saw him. He used to come out here. You come out here. And where my camera? He get up. He walk out there. How about my Cowboy? You did that. I said, Skip, I just need to be right 1 time. For 13 times in 16 games, you did that to me.
13-3.
Yeah.
2 rookies in the backfield.
Yes.
How do they do that?
Yes.
Because the quarterback is capable of doing that.
And then Aaron Rodgers said, I got something for you. I said, Aaron, can you put a stop to this? I said, I got you.
I don't think it was him. I think it was Mason Crossbar who did that.
Hold on. He went to Jared. You know what he did, Skip. Y'all had it.
Cook.
Yes.
Yeah. Lord have mercy, did he? How about those Cowboys?
Yeah. So all you do is set yourself up, Skip. It's like, you get excited, like we going to the movies, or we going to the amusement park, and then all of a sudden the parents like, well, unfortunately we're not going to be able to go today, and then you get all disappointed again, and that's what's going to happen. You get excited now,
all
but
I
you'll
need
be
them to
disappointed
do
in the
next
fall.
year is to go 8.5 and 8.5. How about that?
Yeah.
8.5 and 8.5. And they'll win the NFC least, and you will owe me 5 more cases.
Watch the Cowboys be the first team to go 8-1. I guarantee the Cowboys going to be the first team to go 8-1. Find a way to go 500. They're going to find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And the Cowboys will do it.
If they go 1, it'll be because Fitzmagic ties them on a last-second 70-yard bomb.
You know Fitzmagic don't do no ties. Fitzmagic does wins.
He does
You
win.
know what he does.
Yeah.
You remember he did it at Tom? Remember he did it to Tom when he was in New England?
Yeah.
When he was with the
Did
Jets?
he?
He did it to him again when he was in Miami. You remember that, Skip?
Do I remember what he did at the Raiders last year. That was just impossibly great.
No mercy.
Well, people can't get enough of Shannon's guy, Luka Doncic. The 22-year-old Mavs star took the top spot on a recent ranking of the top NBA players under 25 list, edging out Pelicans big man Zion Williamson, who came in second. The top 5 was rounded out with Hornets rookie LaMelo Ball, Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell, and Celtics forward Jason Tatum. So Shannon, Luka at number 1, Zion at 2. Did they get this right?
I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, in the next couple of years, Luka's going to be in the conversation for best player in the NBA regardless of age. I mean, Luka does everything better than Zion. He scores more, he rebounds better, he assists more. Skip, Zion's only averaging 7 rebounds a game. He's supposed to be Charles Barkley 2.0. Charles Barkley was 22-12 for a career. Charles Barkley got 7 rebounds and a half. Not for a game. Not average that for a game. He only had 5 rebounds last night. I mean, look, Luka. I don't think you'll get any question from anybody about Luka. The problem that I have is that they got LaMelo Ball and Donovan Mitchell and some of these other guys in front of Devin Booker. That's the problem I got. So Luka is a no-doubter, is a no-brainer. Luka is in the MVP discussion. And he might even be higher in the MVP discussion if they continue to play, Skip, if they can move on up in the rankings, because there's a good chance that they probably catch the Lakers before AD and LeBron gets back. But Luka is a slam dunk. That's easy. It's not even, nobody else is even close. There's not, you pull all the general managers, players 25 and under. I guarantee you ain't nobody else getting a vote in front of Luka. Dude's all NBA. As what? How was he, 20 last year? He's first team all NBA. And you think any of these other guys have been first team all NBA? No. Any of these other guys have been a starter in the All-Star game? No. So for me, it's a no doubt. Luka is a no-brainer for me. It's not even, but when they start talking about Devin Booker down here at 8, and they got LaMelo, I love LaMelo, I think he's fantastic, and Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum, I'm not taking any of those guys over Book.
Okay. Let's stay on Luka and Zion.
Okay.
Because you're going to be wrong about Zion. You've had your doubts about him. There are no doubts about him.
You've had your doubts about Luka, and no doubt about it.
Zion is 20 years of age. He's almost, let's call him more than a year young. It's 22 to 20, but it's a little closer in straight age. But he's still 20 years of age. He's played a grand total, Zion has, of 69 NBA games. Luka's played 183 NBA games, and he played 4 years of professional basketball in Europe. 4 years plus 183 games. So he's played almost 3 times as many NBA games as Zion has.
Do you believe Zion, as a 15-year-old, could have played with grown men? Because that's what Luka did. His mom sent him away, and he played with professional, grown behind men. Do you believe Zion could have done that?
Zion Williamson has become an unstoppable force in the NBA. As Rick Carlisle said last week, he said, we've never seen anything like this. We try everything to stop him, and we cannot keep him from the basket because no one has ever been this explosive, this talented, this skilled around the basket as Zion has at age 20. In PER, which is the stat in professional basketball, it's the one you hang your hat on, player efficiency rating. Zion ranks 4th in the league right now. Luka's really good. He ranks 8th in the league right now. But Zion is behind Joel Embiid and Jokic and Giannis. He's 4th, and he's climbing the charts because he's now up to 63% of his field goals made. 63% is impossibly great.
Skip, he's in the restricted area. He's always in the paint.
Nobody can stop him. They try everything.
I would like to see
they
him
try to pack the lane the way they do against Giannis. You can stop Giannis. You can't stop Zion.
No. Nobody stops Giannis in the regular season. They stop Giannis behind come playoff time. Now, I don't know. Hopefully, I get a chance to see Zion in the very near future in the playoffs, and we can see if team, when I just have to devote my attention to stopping one guy. I don't worry about playing the Pelicans one night, Miami the next night, Orlando, and things of that nature. I get to focus my attention on you, and so we'll see if they can slow his butt down.
And Zion, so far, is shooting 38% from 3. In fact, he's been a better three-point shooter than even Luka has been, although Luka obviously has a much higher volume. But last night, I'm watching the Pelicans because they are must-see every night, mostly because of him. And he pulls up and shoots a 3, if we could see this, and he shot it like it was a free throw. And I don't know why he doesn't do more of this. This is just simple. That's just sweet and easy. You don't think he can do more of that?
Yeah,
you don't think when he turns 21 and 22 and 23, he's going to start doing that regularly?
Skip, I can do that, Skip. Ain't nobody within 7 feet of it. Hell, I can do that.
Not that easy to do when you're that big and that strong.
Yeah,
right?
All NBA players can do that right now.
All NBA players can do that.
Except like Steven Adams. But you look at the big Skip. So let me ask you a question. If they left Joel Embiid, if they left Yoke, if they left guys open like that for the course of the game, how many... They don't leave LeBron open. LeBron hit knock him down like that. LeBron hit him in people's face.
I don't know. LeBron's a career 34% three-point shooter. You like that? Because I don't. I wouldn't love that.
I don't want you to do that. Don't you ever do that blasphemy again.
Well, I didn't do blasphemy. I just spoke the truth about LeBron. And by the way, speaking of three-point shooting, I'm going to give you this man for your man, Luka. He has started to figure it out from three because I assume, unlike LeBron, he's actually practicing.
There you go.
Because he seems committed to get better from the three-point line with his step back, which can be unstoppable at, what is he, 6'7"?
Ask the Clippers, can it be unstoppable?
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the Clippers later because the Clippers are the best team in basketball. That's the point about them, and for sure the deepest team. But the point is, Luka, since the All-Star break, is shooting 41% from three, and that has upped him all the way up to 38% for the year from three, which is not bad. It ranks 92nd of 157 three-point shooters, 92nd. So he's you can say he's somewhere around the middle.
Skip, but when you talk about the volume of threes that he shoots per game, he's not shooting 1.2 or 2.4 threes a game. He's shooting 6, 7 threes a game.
Yeah.
So at 38%, that is a good percent. That's a good percentage of makes to keep his numbers where they are. Skip, look, I mean, the dude is averaging 29, 8, and 8.
As a rookie, he shot 33% from three. In his second year, he shot 32% from three. And for most of this year, he was under 30% until he caught this hot streak after the All-Star break. Let's see if he can maintain. He's also been a pathetic free throw shooter a la LeBron. So maybe he's walking in LeBron's footsteps.
Is he worse than Zion?
Well, they're about the same. It's 71% to 73%. He's actually been hot from the free throw line, so up to 73%. That ranks 89th of 111 qualified. So if he's 89th of 111.
If he's 73 and Zion's 71, so that means he's better than Zion. So Zion's pretty pathetic then.
LeBron, Zion is a huge human being. And it's harder for those guys to make free throws, except for Joel Embiid, who is just now re-entered.
You don't do that with LeBron. You don't say LeBron is a huge human being.
Yeah, but he's a two guard. He's actually a
LeBron ain't no two. LeBron is positionless.
Oh, okay.
I do whatever.
But when you're the point guard, two guard, you should at least be able to make 70% of your three throws.
You told me
LeBron's at 69%.
You told me Zion played point guard in high school.
Well, he did.
Okay.
Which is why he's so good around the rim. He is just flat out unstoppable. And I got to tell you, I would put him ahead of, at age 20, for these under 25 rankings, he's ahead of Luka. Nobody can stop that. You can stop Luka. You can do things.
How have they? Everybody said that. They tried Kawhi on him. They tried PG on him. He always gets the team's top defender, and all he does is average 29, 8, and 8. That's all he does.
You remember what the score was on those clutch shots coming into last year? He finally made one against the Clippers.
He made one against Boston.
He was 0 for 10 going into that Clippers playoff series last year. 0 for 10 on late and close clutch shots.
Let me ask you a question. How many clutch shots has he made, Zion?
Well, he just hadn't had that many opportunities. Because he's a baby.
Hold on. Luka at one point in time was the exact same age, and you didn't hold age. You didn't hold age against.
Well, he got a head start. He got to play pro basketball since he was 16 years of age.
I just asked you a simple question.
Yeah.
Do you believe Zion could have played with grown men at 16?
Absolutely, I do. He's playing with grown men at Duke and just annihilate everybody.
No grown men. They just saying that. Skip. The guys that he was playing with at the time got families.
Yeah, and don't tell me Zion's not clutch, because you remember what he did in college. Every time they needed a big hoop, he just went and got it.
This man's
remember against your Carolina Tar Heels?
Yes, Skip, you
remember what he did in the ACC tournament? Just took it over.
This guy right here, he was so good he didn't even need college. He didn't even need college.
0 for 10 on clutch shots? Wow.
What is he now?
That's scary.
What is he now?
What is he, like 1 for 13?
You remember what he did to the Celtics?
Yeah.
He hit the shot to give them the lead. They came back, took the lead back. He's the first guy to do that.
Okay, so that would actually make him 3 for 16?
Don't worry about it. See, there you go.
Come on, stop it.
Skip.
No, not clutch.
If you want to say the dunks and all that other stuff, the block shots, the occasional block shots, you want to say that's more spectacular than Luka, I'm going to disagree. But to say that Zion is a better player right now than Luka, you absolutely crazy.
No, I mean, under 25, I'm taking Zion.
Under 25, under 23, whatever else, you underwater?
How about under 21? Oh, Luka doesn't qualify. Sorry. I'm taking Zion.
Under 20, so you want to go all the way down to under 21, huh?
You can go places with Zion.
Can I ask you a question? So was Zion a better player at 21 than GOAT?
Well, is that the conversation?
Well, you just talking about you want to go under 21?
Well, I'll tell you this. At age 20, this league has never seen anything like this kid. Ever. There's never been a force in this league like Zion at age 20.
Yeah.
Show me one.
It was from Akron. Oh, went home with a blimp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he like a blimp because he hovers over everything. Go James.
Yeah.
That's what we saw. Magic Johnson, 20. Magic Johnson at 20 just took the team to the NBA Finals and won Finals MVP. That's what he did at 20. That guy right there was, what did he do? Didn't he go All-NBA?
My Spurs took a little pin and just popped that big balloon up there, hovering over everything. That big blimp, they just popped it.
Hey.
Went 4-0 in the finals. Swept LeBron right out the door.
Your guy got 2 years. Your guy got 2 years to get a team to the NBA Finals. Your guy got 2 years to get a team to the NBA Finals because that's what that guy did. Took Donyell Marshall, took those guys to the NBA Finals. You saw that roster that he had.
Marshall?
Yeah. That's what I said. Donyell Marshall.
Is that the only one you can point to? How about Ilgauskas?
You illin'. Yeah. That's the you illin'.
I mean, they were pretty good. Well, they were.
You said it with a straight face, too.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, you got, if you're the best player on the planet, you got to get one game off the Spurs, just one home. You get 2 shots at home. You can't get either one of them? Nope, can't get them.
It took your guy till he was 27. Your guy was 27 before he got there.
Who's my guy?
You know who your guy is. I ain't called no name. Ain't none of my business. I don't even know I brought him into this.
Well, the only point I will agree with you on is obviously Devin Booker should be much higher. But the one player he should be much higher above is Jason Tatum. I don't get the Jason Tatum love.
They're going to fire Brad Stevens.
Well, maybe it starts with this guy because there's no it factor to Jason Tatum. He gets a lot of acclaim. He was Kobe's protege. Kobe took him under his wing. We know all that, but I keep waiting for him to be that guy for that team in that city because that's one of the teams. That's the Boston Celtics. And he just doesn't take over the way he should. They
shouldn't have this record with 2 other All-Stars, Kemba Walker and Jaylen Brown. So there's 3 All-Stars in the starting lineup. Skip, there's no way you should be the 5th seed, the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, I know the East is very good. Yeah. But when you got 3 All-Stars in your starting lineup, and you mean to tell me they might be under 500. The Hawks are in front of them.
Yeah. The Hawks are on fire right now.
Ice Tray.
Yeah. Ice Tray. It's not Ice Tray.
No, Skip. No, Skip. You saw that man shiver last night. Logo.
Speaking on, Zion had another huge, unstoppable game, and the Hawks, as a team in the third quarter, made all 11 of their threes. That's a record. Nobody has ever gone 11 for 11, and they did it.
And where was Ice Tray pulling up from? The State Farm Villa logo.
He had a couple.
But
he's becoming an afterthought for a basketball team.
No, did. And then they passed that thing to Red Velvet. Worked it. Yeah. Gallinari. Bogdan.
They got some shooters.
Lit you up. Hold on.
Bogdanovich was just out of his mind.
You coming around the old Ice Tray, aren't you? You coming around the Ice Tray.
Ice Tray? I am.
Okay,
No, I mean, he's actually becoming a cog in the system as opposed to I'm the whole show.
He is the whole show.
No, he's not the whole show.
Is.
That team is the show
Don't
now.
do that, Skip.
When they get DeAndre Hunter back, they're going to be a factor.
They're already a factor.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right.
Ice.
Yeah, you guys enjoyed that one. We're moving on for right now. I want to talk about Tom Brady. He's coming off his 7th Super Bowl ring and is widely considered to be the GOAT, but he still manages to find motivation in the belief he's being doubted. On Good Morning America, Brady told Michael Strahan that a big part of his success in his first year with Tampa came from wanting to prove people wrong who thought the 43-year-old should retire. Take a listen for yourself.
I was always kind of motivated by people that said, you can't do it. You're not good enough. You're not fast enough, not big enough. You don't have a good enough arm. You know, I've had a body of work over a period of time. So, you just say, hey, quickly you forget. I think that's the great part about football. It's not really about what you did last year. It's kind of what you're going to do this year. So for me, it was what I was going to do for the Bucs last year. I still feel that way.
I'm going to start with Skip here. What is your takeaway from Brady's response?
When I watched these quotes this morning and watched a lot of them, the first person I thought of was you.
I get drunk into
this. Me too.
The number one Brady hater, Brady critic, Brady doubter. And I thank you for all that doubt because he thanks you for it because that's what he needed as he went down to Tampa Bay. But the point is, these quotes and the way they were delivered in this interview with the great Michael Strahan are the essence of why you can't stand Tom Brady and why you've never been able to buy into Tom Brady. And they're also why millions of sports fans have never, ever become Brady fans because they just don't believe in the way he speaks off the field. This was classic, vintage, aw, shucks, gee whiz, Tom Brady.
Okay.
He said these quotes with a smile. You could see more of them. GMA is going to air the whole interview, I guess, as we speak now. But he says them mostly with a smile and with that kind of nice guy chuckle in his voice, you know? And it just doesn't come across as that real. It comes across as slightly phony, that he's hiding behind this nice guy Tom Brady facade, and that you can't quite trust that that's the real guy inside, because Michael Strahan teed him up with the softest ball. You know, he just said, here, I'm teeing you up so that you can tee off on all of your doubters. Michael, not a doubter, but he teed him up to tee off. And Tom did it with that little chuckle in his voice instead of just going off on the Shannon Sharps of the world with the passion and the borderline anger that we see him exhibit in his alter ego personality on the field that I call Psycho Tom. We almost never see Psycho Tom off the field except for a couple of times in Tom versus Time in the documentary. Remember, he's out, looked like in the backyard throwing the football, and he just guns one, and he says, I want to show everybody that I can still throw the out of the, you know, and he's using language that, oh, Tom Brady knows those words. Yeah, he uses those words too.
Right.
And I'm like, that's the real guy. The real guy was the guy who got in Honey Badger's face during the Super Bowl. If we could please see that. Do you remember that moment?
I do.
Okay. That's that guy. That's that guy. That's who I want to see occasionally in an off-season, off-the-field interview, because he's going to take nothing off nobody. He's going to chase down Honey Badger to tell him what for. Okay? So to me, it was a moment when he could have said, I showed everybody, because a lot of people thought I was washed up. And instead, he sort of stayed above the fray, and he did it with his nice guy, gee whiz, aw shucks, and it's like, he said, I was always kind of motivated by people that say you can't do it. Kind of motivated? No, you're obsessed with those people. You're fueled. You thrive on those people. You have lived off those people your whole 21-year career. And then he goes on to say, I've had a body of work over a period of time. So, you know, you just say, hey, quickly you forget. Well, it came across as so mealy-mouthed, sort of milquetoasty, that Shannon Sharp's just going to say, oh, give me a break, and here we go again.
No, in pro sports, the body of work is what it is, but you got to update your resume. You don't get to live on what you did 15 years ago. No. You have to constantly update that resume.
Well, this is the ultimate updated resume.
Okay, he's updated it, but hold on. See, no, Skip, it's not that I don't have the problem that I have with Tom Brady, he tries to make every experience that he has unique to Tom. I'm the only guy that's ever been doubted. What professional athlete, regardless of her sport, you think hasn't been doubted? Have anybody been doubted more than LeBron James? The guy was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 17. There's no way in hell he can ever be that. The chosen one. Who in the hell?
LeBron James is simply the most hero-worshipped athlete in the history of sports.
Skip,
the history of sports.
They said he can never be what Sports Illustrated said he was.
Who's they?
So now, okay, who's the people that doubted him?
Huh?
Who's the people that doubted Tom Brady? I'm the only one, right?
No.
So
the world doubts him.
So nobody.
It's not doubt. It's they just don't like him. They can't embrace him.
This is how it works. I don't know how to, I've never really had went to corporate America and worked in that. You can be motivated by doubt, and you can be motivated by fear. Fear motivated me more than doubt, because, Skip, I was fearful that I was not going to be able to provide for the people that ultimately that I was going to be responsible for. That drove me, not the doubt. Because if I fulfilled the obligation that my brother and I had set at a very young age, the doubters would be proved wrong. See, I don't need to prove them wrong. I just need to prove me right. And in the process of proving myself right, you'll be wrong. So for me, that's the way I approached it, Skip. So Tom uses doubt. I use fear. And see, I tell people this all the time. I hated losing more than I enjoyed winning. Skip, I won 3 Super Bowls. But it don't bring me the joy that the pain that loss to Jacksonville gives me. You see what you see, Skip? So the fear of losing, The fear of something being taken away is what drove me. Yeah, Tom thinks that he's the only one been doubted, so he wanted to copyright doubt. Just like he wanted to be Tom Terrific, he forgot that there was somebody 30 years before 20 years before he was born, was named Tom Terrific. He wants to make everything unique to him. Well, let me tell you something else, Tom Brady. I didn't really know this until I got to California. There are a lot of people that eat avocados and eat avocado ice cream too. In every place you go to, ask it, would you like avocado toast? So Tom Brady wants to make, avocados, I eat avocados. That's unique to me. I'm being doubted as a professional athlete. That's unique to me. Every professional athlete has been doubted. Name a professional athlete that has not been, I guarantee you, find me one. Find one that has never been doubted.
You're missing the point.
That is the point. He wants it to be unique to him.
We started this show in 2016, and the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp said that a man who had won 4 Super Bowls at that point was washed, done, go home, you're out. You've had a nice career. It's time to stop. You said it in 2017. You said it in 2018. You said it in 2019, and you said, there's no way anybody should take a shot on this guy because he clearly came completely apart at the end of his New England run. He is done, said the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp. That's not just doubting, that's dunning. Okay. That's just saying you're over and out.
Okay, so,
please go home.
Okay, so what did you say?
You're embarrassing people.
So what do you say about LeBron? Did you believe LeBron?
This is about Tom Brady. Don't put LeBron in the same sentence with that guy. Don't.
You make my point for me.
Super Bowls.
You make my point for me.
No.
Because you want to make everything unique to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the only guy that's been doubted.
He's won 6 of his Super Bowls with game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime. It's unheard of, and he doesn't get enough credit.
If you win,
doesn't get enough credit.
How he won. I'm not taking those away. But what the problem that I have is that everything that's good, you want to make everything unique to Tom. Tom Brady is not the only guy that's been doubted.
What he just did was the most unique achievement in the history of the league you played in. At age 43, he took over a team called the Succaneers at 7-9 in the middle of a pandemic. They couldn't even work out together and had to steal time at a park until they got kicked out of the park in Tampa. They got to play 0 preseason games, and he said, okay, watch this. I'll figure it out on the fly. And it took half a year and a late bye week to figure it out. And then they win their last 8 straight games and win the Super Bowl, and you still won't give him credit for
Just
it.
like you won't give LeBron credit because they had to shut down.
It's not about LeBron. I don't want his name mentioned in this topic anymore. He doesn't qualify for this man's league.
The problem, come on. I understand this is a Tom Brady topic, but we're talking about doubt. You make it seem Tom Brady is the only guy that's been doubted.
No, he's not the only guy, but he's been doubted at the highest level.
LeBron has
7 Super Bowls.
LeBron has it.
He's the most hero-worshipped athlete in the history of this planet. You know it, and I know it. I call him the billions of blind witnesses. LeBron can do no wrong. This guy has a world of Brady haters.
Skip, you make everything, the problem that I have with you and a lot of people is that you try to make everything so unique to Tom. Tom is the only one to eat ice cream, avocado ice cream.
I don't care about, if I ever even mention it on this show, you mention it every day. I don't even care about it.
Because you try to make everything unique to Tom.
I don't make it unique. What he's done.
He's the only one that studies film. Okay. He's the only one that practices and throws in the offseason. He's the only one, yada, yada, yada. Everything is not unique to Tom. People practicing through and trained in the offseason before Tom, they'll do it after Tom.
I believe nobody in the history of this league has watched more tape than that man's watched. I just believe.
Skip.
If you want to show me somebody, remember, he's 43 going on 44.
Coach Belichick has.
No, who's played? A player.
He's played longer.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, show me.
Skip.
Okay, show me. It's what he does. He's obsessed. You admit that he's obsessed with it.
Skip.
Okay?
I would like to think if you're a collector, let's just say you collect things over a period of time. It's hard to say somebody that's been collecting things for 20, 30, 40 years and somebody that's just getting into it is going to collect as much as someone has been doing over a period of time. He's been playing the game for 21, about to be 22 years. So you would expect him to watch that level of film. But am I going to say...
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
So let me ask you a question. So for the first 18 years, he watched more film than Peyton Manning.
I think it'd be real close. I don't know how you
No,
measure
that's not what you said.
No,
you said nobody
what did the
has
Hall
watched
of
more
Famer
film.
Shannon Sharp tell me? At 35, I hit the wall. I couldn't watch any more tape.
That's me. I said Peyton Manning. I didn't say Shannon Sharp. I said I didn't put myself in that. I said Peyton Manning.
All right. Well, who's better, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
There's not a question of who's better. What you said is nobody has watched more tape. I said over the first 18 years of their career, did he watch any more tape than Peyton Manning? A simple yes or no.
I don't know. That'd be a real close call to me. But my money would be on Brady because he is obsessed with it.
Yeah. First of all, Tom Brady has never had the responsibility of the offense. The offense, he didn't go down there and put the Patriots offense in. It was semblance of Patriots offense. When Peyton Manning got to Denver, they stood aside and he put his offense in.
Oh, stop it. You don't think he put his offense in? It took a while, and he did it. He pulled it off. I'm sorry, Shannon. You give him no credit. It's against all odds to take a team that you don't know, a team that was 7-9, and go win the Super Bowl with it in your first year?
Were they not talented?
Well, nobody. You didn't pick them. I did.
Hold on. That's not what I asked. Were they talented? So how does Jameis Winston throw for 5,200 yards and 33 touchdowns if the team is not talented offensively?
Well, how did they go 7-9?
Because he threw 30 interceptions. He had 30-plus turnovers.
If you put Jameis back in next year in his position, they'd go 7-9 again.
Skip, I'm not. You're talking about the level of greatness between two players. That doesn't change whether the offense is talented or not. The offense, Denver, Skip, they went 8-8 with Tebow. They went 13-3 the first year with Peyton Manning.
Okay, but they didn't just go 8-8. They were 1-4 and dead in the water. And Tim Tebow took them on a run to win the division and win a home playoff game. Don't tell me that it wasn't already a groundswell of we can do this, of optimism in the locker room.
Skip, they lost the last 4 games.
They didn't lose the last 4 games. Okay, but the point is, did they win their first home playoff game?
They won.
Yeah.
I'm saying, Skip, is that yes, a quarterback can take you further, but it just goes to show you the level of talent that was already in place. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but the talent, listen, last year there were many shaky games. They got wiped out on a Sunday night.
But then you blame everybody, but Tom. You blame the defense.
Well,
but you never give the defense credit for what they did to Mahomes in the Super Bowl, or for what they did to Breeze, or what they did to Rodgers.
They finally came along.
No, finally. See, you see what they finally did? So what did he finally do against the Rams, against Chicago, against the Chiefs the first go-around?
Well, your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, graded him the number 2 quarterback in football for the whole 16 games last year. That's all I know. And he was graded number 1 in the playoffs. That's all I know.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out the quarterback that wouldn't be graded number 1 if they won the Super Bowl. I guarantee you the year before Patrick Mahomes.
Trent Dilfer?
Let me ask you a question. They didn't have it back then. I don't think Pro Football Focus only goes back to, 2010?
Okay, well, if you graded Trent, I don't think he was graded number 1. Okay.
He might have skipped because he only threw one. He only had 1 turnover the whole playoffs.
Maybe.
Well, we had a lot of touchdowns because you boy Shea cut through.
Well, I just want to thank you for your Brady hate.
Ain't no Brady.
It played a huge part in what happened last year.
Guess what? Tom Brady's the only guy that got haters. Tom Brady's the only guy that got doubters. Tom Brady's the only that's very unique. Every experience that every other athlete has gone through is only unique to Tom. So, guys, I apologize that you've never been doubted. It's a very unique experience.
No mercy.
2 of the 22 women who have filed lawsuits against Deshaun Watson went public with their identities during a news conference yesterday, speaking out about the alleged inappropriate behavior from the Texans quarterback. Ashley Solis read a statement about her experience, and then a lawyer representing Lauren Baxley read a statement on her client's behalf. Take a listen.
I am a survivor of assault and harassment. Deshaun Watson is my assaulter and my harasser. Deshaun Watson assaulted and harassed me on March 30th, 2020 in my own home, doing what I love most, massage therapy.
When you confirmed that you were ready for your massage, I entered the room and was both shocked and sickened to find you completely nude, face down. I did not want to touch you, but my terror kept me in autopilot, and I continued to the best of my ability to give you therapeutic treatment. But at this point, it was clear that's not what you were seeking.
Not gonna lie, hard to watch. Shannon, what impact will these public statements have?
I think where we are right now, Skip, everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt. But I think because the pendulum was so far one way before the Me Too movement, Skip, is that the man always got the benefit of the doubt and the woman was never believed. And now the pendulum has swung so far, everybody automatically believes that she's telling the truth and no one wants to believe the man. So I think the thing for me is that, Skip, what I try to do when I hear a case, I always pretend like I'm a juror. I try to hold out, I try to withhold one way or another. Let me hear everything. Let me hear all the facts. I don't want to get caught up in a victim's impact statement because you got to be careful with that, Skip, because, you know, they're crying and they're emotional and maybe they've been traumatized. So I don't want to jump to any conclusion. And so what I'm going to do, I'm staying right here in the middle. Everybody's going to have their day in court now. We know who some of these women are. They're going to have to give their statements to Deshaun's investigators, and I don't know if they turn their statement over to the police. I'm sure the police investigators, and they're going to have to do all that. But for me, Skip, I'm not so sure that there are some that says he did it. There's some over here that says, nah, I don't know about all that. And then there's some that says, okay, I'm just going to wait and see. But I think what Deshaun has working against him is just the sheer volume. And they're telling the very similar story. It's almost like a MO, modus operandi. That's the method in which you operate. He did this. He says, okay, I need a massage. And when they get there, you know, and I guess that's the, for lack of a better word, I guess allure is such a sordid meaning behind it. But I guess that's how he gets the women to come to him, or he is allowed to go into their space by the massage. But for me, Skip, I'm gonna stay right where I am. I'm gonna give Deshaun the benefit of the doubt, although it's getting harder and harder because more and more women are coming forward. And so I'm gonna wait till he has his day in court. I'm gonna wait till Rusty Hardin and his investigators get an opportunity to talk to these women. Because I'm sure, look, the lady, one of the attorneys was reading a statement that she was, that one of the massage therapists was upset that Deshaun was naked on the table. You know, for me, I would just say, well, Deshaun, I don't do naked massages. And so this commences this session. And, but for whatever reason, she said she felt paralyzed by fear. Autopilot took over. Like I said, I've never been an assault victim. So, Skip, I can't speak to that, what transpires in a woman's body or how trapped they seemed at the time. But for me, I'm not going to get caught up into the victim's impact statement because I think I'm going to give Deshaun the benefit of the doubt till he has his day in court. And then whatever they decide, I'm going to live with that also.
Okay. I hear you. We are still trying this case in the court of public opinion.
But that's what they want.
That, for now, is what this is. Hopefully they'll have their days, as you say, in real court.
Yes.
These are all still accusations and allegations.
Correct.
But I must say, as just a viewer, just a bystander watching this unfold, that testimony that we just saw on camera from Ashley Solis was compelling and convincing. And immediately, Rusty Hardin, now the attorney for Deshaun Watson, a celebrity attorney who's defended athletes at the highest levels, immediately responded that Ashley Solis was one of the women who came forward early on.
Sought settlement.
And sought $100,000 in what Rusty Hardin termed hush money. The point of that is, money or no money, that does not diminish the fact that she says that she was so psychologically and emotionally damaged from her encounter with Deshaun that is still deeply affecting her life. So let's not diminish that as just seeking hush money. And to your point, we now have 22 civil cases filed. We have reportedly another woman who went straight to the police with her allegations. And just the gravity, the mass of the impact,
the groundswell of women that's coming forward,
is disturbing at the very least. And it doesn't look good for Deshaun.
No.
And by the way, Nike has now suspended their endorsement deal with Deshaun. No big shock there. And after these two women have come forward and gone public with their allegations yesterday, it obviously increases the pressure on the National Football League to do something.
Yeah.
And we both said they're in a tough spot here because they're sort of waiting to see how it's playing out.
Well, I read that the NFL said their investigators to talk to the women.
Okay.
But Skip, if the NFL is going to intervene, it's going to be more than 2 games.
Well, the first order of business might be to put Deshaun on that exempt list, just to take him out of the NFL mix for a while, to say, you're there until we figure out exactly where this is all heading.
Correct.
And I think we all believe that Deshaun's tradability is getting close to 0 at this moment.
Yes.
Until this all sorts itself out.
Yeah, they're going to probably end up having to give him away. What they thought they could get 3 first-round picks, Skip, they might be in a situation where they're going to be asking you, like, hey, if you come pick him up, you can have him.
Okay. And to your point about a suspension, if in fact the Houston Texans do want to hang on to him and want him to be their franchise quarterback, there's been a lot of, obviously,
I don't know
PR
if
damage
I think he's going to have to get a change of venue. I don't think he can stay there. I don't think he can be in the state in Houston. I don't think he can be in the state of Texas. I think that's over, especially with all these allegations that's coming out. And Skip, you make a very compelling point. Allegations is not guilt. So let's just let it play out. And I understand, Skip, there's a lot of women saying, a lot of them saying the very same thing of how it happened and what transpired. But for me, that's just an accusation.
Okay. And both of these women yesterday expressed that they had some shame that they didn't come forward sooner. And that is often the case with these victims. Right. So keep all of that in perspective, because it's difficult. We're on a debate show here, so there's nothing to debate here.
No, we're not. No.
But this is also a very important story.
Yeah.
And
this is serious.
It is extremely serious.
And where we are now, Skip, and where we probably should have always been. But where we are now, there's no more, she knew or she dressed and she had it. There's none of that. There's none of that position of power. And if you're in a position of power, that you should use that power. And so for me, it's just hard because, like I said, what we thought we knew about Deshaun Watson. How well do you actually know a person, Skip? How well do we? We thought we did, and he still might be the guy that we thought we knew. But there's a lot of, but this is that he put himself in he put himself in this position. He did. And so
I told you the first day, I was a Deshaun fan as a quarterback on the field.
Right.
And if you'd brought me a list of 100 NFL players the first day this story broke and said, which of these players would be involved in this, I would have ranked Deshaun at the bottom of that list, and I would have been wrong.
Right. So it's just, it's sad. I hate the women. This is true. They had to go through this. If it's not true, I hate Deshaun is being dragged for this. But Skip, he'll never be the Deshaun Watson. When the allegation first came out, he'll never be the same Deshaun Watson before. He'll never be that guy again.
On that, we agree.
Oh, well, Skip, you mentioned that Nike suspended their brand partnership. He also works with Rolex and Beats by Dre, so we'll have to see. Those are some of the bigger partnerships, and he's got local deals. We'll see if those companies make a decision there. And this investigation is underway from the NFL. So the reality is we are months away from probably having answers here, and that is the latest.
No mercy.
Robert Kraft made headlines when he said he didn't think Bill Belichick's staff had done the best job drafting in recent years. And now we have an example of just that. A recent report explains that in 2019, Belichick ignored his personnel department's advice to take Deebo Samuel or A.J. Brown ahead of N'Keal Harry. Patriots took Harry, who has only scored 4 touchdowns in his 2 years in the league, while Samuel and Brown have combined for 28 in the same time span. So, Shannon, how bad does this make Bill Belichick look?
It'll make him look bad. Skip, how many owners you think would take? Well, you know what? My head coach, who's my general manager, hadn't drafted well, but he got me 6 Super Bowls. Tell me what you think the 31 owners would say. You think they would take that? If their head coach, which is the general manager, doesn't draft well, but in 21 years, he's presented me 6 Super Bowls. He's led me to 9 Super Bowl appearances. You think the 31 others, you think Jerry Jones would take that, Skip? Everybody's taking that. Skip, this is not unique to Coach Belichick. It's been reported right now that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch differ on the quarterbacks that they should take. I believe if the coach has any say, the coach should have the say on who they take. Skip, let me ask you a question. You know Gil Brandt. I know Gil. Been on Gil's radio show. Every time I go back to the Hall of Fame, I speak to Gil. So I know Gil. Skip. Gil, from 1960 until Tom Landry left, he was the general manager. So all those players, the Bob Lillies, the Randy Whites, the Ed Toots, all those guys, he drafted them. Do you think anybody knows what Gil Brandt's record is? But they know what Tom Landry's record is. Do you think they know what Ozzie Newsom's record is? But they know what Brian Billick and Harbaugh's record is. What I'm saying is, Skip, is that goes to them. If he's going to have to coach him, allow him to say, you know what, I understand you like that guy, but I believe for my system and what I'm doing, he would be better. Because, Skip, at the end of the day, everybody, and what is everybody? Everybody can't play here. You hear that from every player, Skip, every player that's ever come out of New England say it's not for everybody. And it's not. Somebody might be immensely talented, but how well is he going to take criticism? How well is he going to take structure? How well is he going to take discipline? So you have to factor that in. I have no problem with Coach Belichick foregoing what the scout said. It's hard for me to believe that they say the Cowboys were the first to start really scouting players and get them the standardized tests and all that other stuff, Skip. So it's hard for me to believe in the 50-plus, 60-plus years that players have been scouted, that the head coach and the general manager and scouts have differed on a player. And the coach says, I want that guy, and they select that guy. That's what it seems to me this article wants you to believe, that Coach Belichick is the only guy that's ever done that. Well, whatever he's doing, granted, his receivers, drafted receiver, Skip, is horrible. It's the worst ever. It might be the worst in the history of the game. Because you look at Chad Jackson from Florida, you look at the guys he got, Skip, but now he'll get somebody else receiver. He get Wes Welker and Danny Amendola and Randy Moss and work miracles with them. Julian Edelman. You notice I ain't put Gronk in there because Gronk is an all-time great. But, Skip, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem. Mr. Kraft, free agency came the year before you bought the team in '94. You spent one time, excessive in free agency. And you got 6 Super Bowls to show for it. I don't know if I'd be complaining at this point. I wouldn't.
Okay. You have forced me to start where you started because you brought up Gil Brandt and the Dallas Cowboys. I wrote a whole book about this, and I think you don't quite grasp what happened with Gil Brandt. He had final say over the draft every year because Tom Landry wanted nothing to do with the draft because he traveled with the Billy Graham Crusade in the offseason, and he just didn't want to put any of the time into the drafting that Gil put in. So through the 1970s, to your point, Gil Brandt was the draft master. He made Tom Landry, and then he broke Tom Landry with his drafts of the 80s. Why did he score in the 1970s? Because most teams were drafting out of Street and Smith magazine. Oh, that's a good college kid. We should take him. Gil Brandt knew everybody. He knew the trainers. He knew the secretaries. He knew the ball boys at remote college campuses in Langston, Oklahoma, where Thomas Hollywood Henderson was playing college football. And he knew people there who told him, hey, this kid can fly and weighs 220 and he can run like nobody you've seen before.
He was a linebacker that ran back kickoffs. They put him on the kickoff team, Skip.
So they continued to outdraft everybody through the 70s, and they had the most talent, and they won a whole bunch of football games, and they started winning Super Bowls. And then all of a sudden, Gil tried to live up to his reputation as the draft master, and he started to reach farther and reach farther and reach farther for Rod Hill, and it just was swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss. And finally, by 1988, they were a terrible football team.
And all the greats that he had drafted in the 70s, Skip, had aged out. The Randy Whites and the Duttons and all those guys were.
So Tom Landry was a beneficiary of Gil Brandt, and then he was a victim of Gil Brandt. Okay, very different situation than this.
But I'm saying, Skip, if the coach had, he has final say. Kyle Shanahan has final say. And so basically what you're saying is that Tom Landry didn't want any say. So he's like, okay, that's fine. If that's what you want, go do it. But that's not how he operates. That's not how Kyle Shanahan. I believe Andy Reid. Hey, that was Andy Reid.
Okay, so I've told you many times how I feel about Bill Belichick getting to buy the groceries as well as cook the dinner.
Right.
Well, he bought a lot of bad groceries, a lot of spoiled meat and spoiled vegetables, and he got away with it because Tom Brady was the ultimate deodorant to me. It just didn't matter after a while exactly who you swung and missed on because Brady would make it right. He was a great leader and obviously a great clutch playmaker. And so just the system in place and Belichick's ability to coach defense and actually do a lot with a little on defense with a bunch of cogs that didn't really even fit or belong in the league. He brought them together, and they had very good defenses. Not great ones, except for the early one, the one that beat the Rams in the first Super Bowl. But after that, they were always very good. You always say they're top, 10 defenses. And I give you that because he is a great defensive coordinator. I do not think he is a great team builder. And it finally caught up the first year that Tom was gone. It's like, Cam can't overcome that, and Brady's down in Tampa Bay saying, I told you.
Well, Skip, maybe he doesn't build the team like you would want people to build a team is through the draft.
Okay.
But if you look at the guys that he's gone out and gotten free agency, and they don't do well at their particular, the Kyle Van Noys, Randy Moss had run his course in Oakland, and you look at Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, and a lot of these other guys, Skip, they don't have a level of success where they were.
That is true.
Now, Randy Moss was a Hall of Famer before he got to New England. So we might need to take him off the table. But you look at some of the other guys, Skip, that he was able to bring in and get major contributions from.
Okay. Here's the key stat, though, when it comes to Belichick's drafts. Since 2013, he has drafted only 2 Pro Bowl players.
One's a punter.
And that's second worst to any team in the league except for the Bungles, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
So second worst on Pro Bowlers. And then I just skimmed down the list and just a few quick examples. So last year he drafted Kyle Duggar in the second round. And he missed Antoine Winfield Jr., who I told you should have been Defensive Player of the Year, a Rookie of the Year. And then we go back to the N'Keal Harry draft that we just talked, that Jenny talked about. He misses on A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, and I'll throw in Mecole Hardman. Well, obviously.
And Debo. Wasn't Debo?
Yeah. And Debo's. You're going down the draft into the third round. Okay, 2018, he takes Isaiah Wynn, which is fine, but Sony Michel, but he leaves Nick Chubb on the table. Well, okay, and he leaves Lamar Jackson for what it's worth. I don't think he would have drafted Lamar.
I don't either.
But whatever. Then Cyrus Jones in 2016 in the second round, and he misses on James Bradbury and Kendall Fuller, who both turn into really good football, especially James Bradbury. He is a Pro Bowl cornerback.
And Fuller went to the Pro Bowl.
And he did. Now he's
in Denver.
In Denver. And all of a sudden, Denver just might have the best secondary in football. Okay, then back to 2014, Dominic Easley over my man DeMarcus Lawrence. And then Aaron Dobson back in 2013 over Keenan Allen. You're just swinging, missing. You're missing obvious Pro Bowl players that are coming right after the one you picked.
Well, see, the thing that makes Coach Belichick is that he takes the lesser guys. See, Skip, if he had that, I don't know if we'll give him that level of talent, credit, if he had an Aaron Donald, or if he had with the year he had Darrelle Reeves. We don't give guys credit for coaching that level of that greatness. He take guys, like you said, they're cogs, and he fits them all together, it works.
And it works.
He's never had an Aaron Donald. The best defensive player that he's had the last decade is Chandler Jones, and he traded him.
He did.
He traded him.
Yep. Okay.
One of his better linemen that had Richard Seymour. He traded him. So I think that's a part of it, Skip, is that you're like, nobody is above my system. I can take anybody, put him in my system. That's how he believes, Skip. That's what he believes.
I got it. And he's been so great for so long that now he's come to the point that it is Gil Brandt-like. And I'm glad you brought up Gil Brandt, because after a while, you need to repolish your genius by saying, hey, everybody, watch this. I'll take Kyle Duggar from small school nowhere in the second round. Watch what I can do with Kyle Duggar. And maybe Kyle Duggar will turn into a Pro Bowl player, but so far, not so much. But the point is, Gil Brandt kept reaching for players to hope they
fulfill,
because if they lived up to, you took them from nowhere, then you'd say, oh, wow, Gil Brandt's still at it again.
And that's what happens, Skip. If you go back to Bill Nunn, who finally got into the Hall of Fame, and Bill Nunn, if you remember that name. I'm talking about Bill Nunn Sr. Bill Nunn Jr. was in Do the Right Thing as Radio Raheem. So that is his actual dad. But what Bill Nunn would do was like, hold on, wait a minute. I need to go to these black schools.
He did.
He started going to Southern and Grambling and Alcorn and Alabama A&M and all that. Hold on, wait a minute. And voila.
See, to me, Bill Nunn had a true eye for who could play.
Yes.
At the historically black.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so he's going to see those players and say, look at that and look at that. Gil Brandt didn't know he needed somebody to tell him, you got to see this guy, Hollywood Henderson. He wasn't Hollywood yet. He was just Thomas.
Right. Okay. And the thing is, Skip, when you have that level of success, Bill Nunn, I think it was 74, his first 4 picks, in the first, he Lynn Swan, and then he had Mike Webster, had John Starworth, and Jack Lambert.
What's the greatest draft ever?
They win Hall of Fame.
I know.
How you do that? Your first 4 picks. I mean, you get Mel Blount, Hall of Fame, Joe Green, Hall of Fame. Skip, look at them. They littered.
Yep.
Jack Ham, Donnie Shell.
And like Lynn Swan's from USC, but John Stallworth, small
Alabama A&M.
Thank you.
And Mel Blount from Southern. Donnie Shell's from South Carolina State. And so, and that's what happens, Skip, when you have, it's hard, Skip, when you have that level of success, and we see that with entertainers. Michael Jackson drove himself crazy, Skip. He tried to top Thriller. You're not going to have another 100 million selling album. Nobody's ever done that before. And you think you're going to do it twice? And so you start reaching and reaching. And then, but Coach Belichick, you have to update your resume now. You got those 6 Super Bowls. They can't take those away.
I know, but he's back on the clock here.
Yeah.
No mercy.
So the Lakers beat the Raptors 110-101 last night, but the biggest fireworks came in the first quarter when Dennis Schroeder fouled OG Anunoby during a layup attempt. Schroeder continued to hold on to Anunoby, seemingly to not fall down on him, but then Anunoby appeared to retaliate by almost kind of body slamming the Lakers guard as he freed himself. So Montrezl Harrell ran over to the scuffle to defend his teammate, and Harrell and Anunoby were both eventually ejected for their roles in the incident. So there's a lot there. Shannon, did you agree that they should have been ejected?
Skip, I don't know what OG got upset about. Schroeder grabbed him so he can't extend to get an and one. That's what you're taught to do, Skip. Grab his arms. He hadn't left the floor. Skip, if he had elevated, all bets are off. Don't grab me once I'm up in the air because my momentum and you so small, you're not going to be able to hold me. So I'm going to end up hurting myself and I'm going to be ticked at you. And so I might swing on you. He didn't get off the floor. You can look at Schroeder, I got him, trying to hold him up from falling. I don't know why he was scooping. Now, I get treads running in to protect your players, but that's an automatic ejection, especially once you shove the guy. Now, you remember Rudy Tom Johnson lost his life with that, Skip.
Now you've gone to the absolute worst.
In the 90s, that's what would happen. You ran in there in the 90s, Skip, when they used to fight. You remember how the Knicks in Miami, remember Jeff Van Gundy holding up? No, that was Jeff. Who was holding on to somebody's leg? Jeff Van Gundy was holding on to somebody's leg.
To Alonzo Mourning.
So
just hanging on his leg.
So Skip, they've cleaned that up, and I think the guys know that's a heavy fine. That's a major suspension. So now we see Skip guys shove a little bit, but you're not supposed to run in. I believe if Trez had run in, grabbed Schroeder, I think he'd have been fine. I do still believe OG was gonna get ejected because he scooped Schroeder up off the floor and pretend like he tried to ease you down, but. I'm going to agree with Trez because he ran in and he shoved Trent Jr. and he shoved OG. So his ejection was going to happen automatically.
Okay.
But OG shouldn't have reacted the way he did because all Schroeder did was wrap him up so he couldn't get the ball up and get an and one. And he tried to hold him so he wouldn't fall. He's telling the ref, I got him. And he scoops him. So I don't know what he got upset about.
So, because you went there about Kermit Washington versus Rudy Tomjanovich, I was covering that game for the LA Times, and in a shock of shocks, I believe that Rudy T was getting into it with Kareem at that point, and Kermit Washington gets a running start, and he was an enforcer in and of himself, and landed a running start punch to the jaw.
Rudy was running up towards him.
Yes, and he caught him flush.
Yeah, he caught him flush,
And the LA Times sent me to the hospital for the rest of the night, Sentinella Hospital, because it was, quote unquote, death watch. We were afraid he wasn't going to make it.
That's what he said.
He barely made it.
Yes, he said he was leaking spinal fluid.
So that was the worst case of this. Okay, now back to your favorite word, context for this. I remind you that the home team Raptors were already getting, to use your phrase, their doors blown off by the Lakers.
They were, yeah.
A team that has not been blowing anybody's doors off. But remember, the Raptors had played the night before at home against Washington, and they had been 19 down in the second half and had stormed back, and they won it on a buzzer-beating 3 by their newest player, Gary Trent Jr.
Right.
So it was extremely emotional, extremely draining, and they came into the Laker game.
Almost like Gonzaga, huh?
Okay.
They won that game emotionally, and they got their doors blown off.
Except that Gary Trent Jr.'s 3 was a real 3 that swished as opposed to banking in. So it wasn't a lucky shot. It was a great shot. But the point is, there's no Kyle Lowry last night. Right. There's no Van Fleet last night. Right. So they're way shorthanded with their 2 best players gone, you could argue.
What about our 2 best players?
Okay, well, I got it, but they're drained, so they're a little frayed emotionally, and they're a little spent, so you have to provide context for what's about to happen.
Right.
Now, there was a time, and this runs counter to the Kermit Washington incident, but there was a time in this league that what happened last night would have been calm down, play on.
Right.
Like it wasn't that big a deal to me.
Skip, you remember when Kevin McHale snatched Kurt Rambis out the air?
Do I? They just let it go. Just let it go. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
But the truth was, Anunoby got a little frustrated because he thought that Schroeder just hung on a little too long.
Right.
That's what happened.
Right.
And so at the last second, he flips him. But if you watch closely again, after he flips him, he does reach down for him like he's trying to let him down softly.
No,
like
he done flipped the bat. He talking about,
let me. But it's like he's reaching down. I hope you didn't fall too hard.
Yeah.
You could see there was a little contrition in his actions.
No.
So he knew it was slightly out of bounds and out of line.
Well, he tried to, I'm going to do like you do. Oh, you tried to help me? I'm going to help you too.
Okay. But he didn't just throw him down and walk away.
Because he might have got suspended if he had done that.
I would say. Okay, so to me, Gary Trent Jr. comes right in the middle. He's got to go.
Because he shoved Schroeder.
He was the first one to shove it. Come on. That's okay. I know you're trying to break it up, but you escalate. You know, you came in the middle of. Yeah. How did Gary Trent Jr. get a pass on this not getting suspended? Because Trez doesn't come in until after Gary Trent has escalated the situation to me. Right?
Right.
They're going at it.
Yeah.
And I know he's trying to peacemake, but that's you. When you try to peacemake, as you know, you can fire start.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Hey, the cameras got you coming in. The cameras get you coming in, so hey, he got to go.
So I felt bad for Montrezl because he didn't really deserve to go.
Right.
He came in. He was late to the party.
Right.
Well,
because he would not have reacted if Trent doesn't shove Schroeder. Because now he thinks it's 2-on-1. Because he just sees OG scoop him, and now Schroeder's trying to get up off the ground, and Gary Trent Jr. shoves him. So Trent like, hold on, anybody beat on 2-on-1.
Okay, but Schroeder did want a piece of Anunoby, right? Yeah. He wanted.
Get him back to the man.
I got it. I get it. But the point is, how does Trent get away with? I know he was trying to shove him backwards, but it looked like he's saying, well, let's go right here.
Yeah, hey, Skip, we used to do this. If people at home know what I'm talking about. If you scoop a dude like that, you got to fight him, Scoop. You can't just skip. Because you making it seem I'm big boying you. I scoop you up, just dropped you like that. Because that's what he did. He just scooped him and dropped him.
Well, he is the bigger man of the two by far.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so Schroeder skipped his momentum, and Schroeder basically tried to hold him. He's telling the ref, I got him. I mean, you go look at the foot. I got him. And for whatever, you said, no, you don't. I'm going to get you. And he scooped the man up and dropped him and then pretend like, you okay? You ain't fall too hard, did you? Schroeder like, bruh.
Well, for once, it lit a fire under the Lakers because they just kept raining threes.
You raining threes on them.
Yep.
You going to talk about back-to-back.
Hey. And Marc Gasol, he got his fire lit finally.
Yeah,
right?
we going to do that.
Yeah. Who needs Kareem Abdul-Drummond when you got Marc Gasol?
You
don't need him.
But once that old big three come back, wouldn't that big three come back?
Who's the big three?
Big Drummond. Big Drum, Golden Baby.
Kareem Abdul-Drummond is now part of the big three.
We got the big three.
You're embracing the genie bus. We got our Kareem.
We going all in on Drum.
Really?
All in. I'm shoving all my chips to the center on Big Drum.
I feel so sorry for that man.
All of your chips? Okay.
All my chips in on Baby Golden Drum.
Mercy.
Saturday night, the NASCAR Cup Series moves to FS1, where we could see our 8th different winner of the season. Catch all the short track action with the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 from Martinsville Saturday at 7 Eastern on FS1 and anywhere on the Fox Sports app. So people just can't get enough of Shannon's guy, Luka Doncic. The 22-year-old Mavs star took the top spot on a recent ranking of the top NBA players under 25 list, edging out Pelicans big man Zion Williamson, who came in second. As we heard earlier in the show, Shannon agrees with those rankings, as we expected, while Skip said he thinks Zion should be number 1. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joins us now. Chris, this is where you come in. Whose side are you on here, Skip's or Shannon's?
Look, I don't know if this is a racial thing or what, but I'm with Luka. All right, this is Luka. And Skip, it really ain't even that close. I like Zion. I have no problem with him being number 2, but this is not even close. And there are many reasons. One of them, though, is simple math. 3 is worth more than 2. In today's NBA, it's all about the 3 ball. The 3-pointer is more important than the dunk or the layup. One guy, Luka, excels with the 3 and other things, and one guy, Zion, excels with the dunk and the layup. It's as simple as that. So Luka has become a very good 3-point shooter. Over the last 2.5 months, he's shooting 42% from 3. This season, he's almost at 38%, and that's on 8 attempts a game. All right, so now you combine his 3-point shooting with his playmaking skills, his ball handling, his finishing ability, his mid-range, his driving ability. He can do it all offensively. The only thing he's not great at is free throw shooting, but he's adequate, 74%. And that's better than Zion, who's at 69%. So you've got that. And then, look, I've told you this, Skip. You don't want to agree. He is the new age version of Larry Bird. Now, people might say, well, Bird won. Has Luka proved he can win? Let's give it time. That remains to be seen. But what Luka's already proven is that he can improve a team dramatically. In his second year in the league, 20 years old, he lifts Dallas to the 7th seed in the Western Conference. LeBron James didn't even get Cleveland to the playoffs in his second year in the East. All right, so and now Luka, since he started hitting the 3-ball, they are 20-8 over the last 2 months. That would be one of the best records in the league. Shannon and I were just talking, he's actually got a shot, if they keep winning and rising in the ranks, maybe of being MVP. Look, I don't want to look at me. I like him a lot.
I'm listening to Chris.
But Luka is a better shooter. He's a better rebounder. He's a better passer. He's more durable. And he's already proven that he makes his teammates better, which Zion has yet to prove.
Hey, Chris, you do realize that at the age of 22, Larry Bird was not in the NBA. We know that, right?
There you go.
Then he's disqualified. That's it. Luka's way better than Larry Bird. He wasn't even in the league.
There you go with your foolishness, Skip. You know that man went to Indiana transfer, had to sit out a year, so he had to stay. He stayed all those years.
He couldn't take Bobby Knight. And I don't blame him.
Exactly. Skip, Chris, I'm with you, and I tried to explain this to Skip. I mean, he does everything better than Luka. He scores 29. He rebounds better. Let that sink in. Zion is always by the basket. He getting 7 rebounds a game. Luka's averaging 8. Luka averaged 9 rebounds last year a game. He's 20. Luka right now is 29, 9, and 9. 29, 8, and 8, excuse me. That's almost a triple-double. He's 22. 22. Your guy got another all-star on his team. Where is he going? Luka took his team to the playoffs in his second year. Now, Zion need to get his team into the playoffs in his second year, right? That's what he need to do. He ain't going to do that. Skip, look. I like Zion. He's exciting, the dunks, the layups, but he can't do what Luka does. Luka runs the team. Zion, they put the ball in Zion's hand, and for more, he's handling the ball more. His assist total is not that high. I mean, so look at Luka. Hit the 3, get into the lane, assist the ball, rebound the ball. So he does everything better than Zion except block shots, but you want Zion over here. Don't do that, Skip.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay, back to my friend Chris Broussard, who began by saying maybe this is a racial thing. Well, Chris, I don't know if you noticed, we've known each other a long time, but I'm actually white, and Zion's black, so I...
No, you're talking about I had to take the white guy, you had to take the black.
So we're doing reverse race? Okay, I got it. Well, fortunately, I don't think that way, and fortunately, you guys are both wrong, very wrong about this, because if I'm going on potential, I'm taking a force unlike anything I've seen in this league since Shaquille O'Neal in his prime. As Rick Carlisle said a couple of weeks back, we've never seen anything like this before. Zion is making 63% of his shots. That is running away with the percentage of field goal making in the NBA. Zion has already skyrocketed to 4th in PER. It's the stat, the most defining stat in basketball. PER, he's 4th. Luka is 8th. Not bad, but not 4th. And before I leave behind the Larry Bird analogy, I'm sorry. Larry Bird was as clutch a shooter as we have ever seen. And just for the record, Luka on go-ahead or tying field goal attempts in the last minute of regulation or overtime is now 2 out of 15. 2 out of 15 in his brief NBA career. Yeah. So he's been a disaster of a clutch shooter. And as a free throw shooter, he makes 73% of his free throws. Larry Bird was a 90% free throw shooter.
Skip.
His 73 ranks 89th of 111 qualified. That's almost as bad as LeBron.
He talking about the guy took a lot of these shots. He didn't even have a driver's license. The man didn't even have a driver's license, and he taking game-winning shots, game-ending shots, and you criticizing him for it.
So the truth is, yeah, he's been on a little bit of a hot streak lately from 3, but he shot in his rookie year 33% from 3. Next year, which was last year, 32%. And this year, he was in the low 30s until he got hot here of late, and he has catapulted up to almost 38%. Well, Zion doesn't take very many threes, but he's at 38%. He made one last night. If we could just see that quickly. This is as natural, easy a stroke of a three-point shot as you will ever see, and I don't know why he doesn't take 5 a game. Maybe next year he'll take 3, and the next year he'll take 4. He can be a lethal three-point shooter, and he is clutch. We saw him clutch at Duke. I watch the Pelicans every night. And trust me, late and close, I want the ball in Zion's hand. And unfortunately, it's in B.I.'s hand. Sometimes it's in Lonzo's hand. Not often enough is it in Lonzo's hand. He is 20 years of age. He has played a grand total of 69 NBA games. Luka has played 183 NBA games after playing 4 years of professional basketball in Europe.
That's how good we were.
Hey, Zion is just skyrocketing up the charts. And if you go from age 20, give me when he's 22 or 23, I want Zion. I can win championships with Zion.
First of all, you got to get to the playoffs with Zion.
Okay. Well, I don't love the coach that was chosen for this year's Pelicans. So that's the first problem.
Who you want to coach it?
Rick Carlisle. I'll take Rick Carlisle. Okay. Well, that's who you got. And he's one of the best.
He's already had 2 coaches.
2.
Yeah.
He's had 2 coaches, and they haven't won. And you love his point guard, Skip.
I do love his point. I love the talent on that team. I scratch my head every night saying, what happened? I know what happened last night. Atlanta made 11 of 11 threes in the third quarter. Well, it's hard to beat that because that's the record for threes made without a miss in a quarter in the NBA history. Okay.
Well, what about your guy playing defense?
Okay.
They giving up. They did the bottom of defense.
Wait, I'm glad you brought that up because your guy plays less defense than my guy does.
No.
Luka never even thought about playing defense.
It's close.
It's close.
Oh, I don't know.
Real close.
Close?
Skip,
really?
your guy gets 7 rebounds a game.
Okay, and you know, you've been all over Zion about you got to get in shape. You got to quit eating that New Orleans cuisine.
Yeah.
Zion's body looks pretty good to me right now. And by the way, Luka showed up for his 3rd year in the NBA in pathetic shape, which is why they got off to a horrendous start.
Right.
Yeah.
But he got
so that's your guy?
He right. Yeah, he right now.
He knows how to eat.
Rick Carlisle told him. You know, he went home over the holiday, after the break, and he ate a little bit too much.
Yeah. I'm Zion all day on this. You can have the unclutched Luka.
Zion isn't even taking 1 3 a game. All right, that 38% means nothing for
That's
him.
right.
You
wrong.
know it's a small sample size. Luka shooting 8 a game and he's hitting 38%. Zion shooting a half of 1 a game.
Well, I
and
told
did you see that shot?
If I were coaching, he'd try 4 a game because he can make those shots.
Yeah, Skip, the man, Skip, everybody was in the lane.
Look at this, Skip. I mean, I could have hit that shot.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, come on. Here's the other thing, Skip. You know the list was a projection, right? Like where these guys will be in the future.
That's my point.
We hope this is not the case, but we do have to factor it into the equation. Health. You know, is Zion, we've seen Larry Johnson was a Zion before Zion. Eventually that back went out. And I hope this doesn't happen with Zion. He's been great this year as far as health. But are you definitely, ready to say he's going to be, play the next 12 years virtually injury-free? If he loses his athleticism for whatever reason, age, attrition, and injury, he's done. I mean, what's he going to do?
And look at
get
Chris,
out there and shoot threes?
Chris, I give you another.
This game will age really well.
Yes. I give you another one, Chris. Brandon Roy. You remember Brandon Roy?
Not the same.
He was
the same body.
No, I'm saying, but he was special in injury.
How about Derrick Rose?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. That's a similar.
Hey, I got a problem with Devin Booker.
Derrick Rose is similar with the torque.
Exactly. And look at Devin Booker. They got Devin Booker down here at 8. Really? Really, Devin Booker?
Yeah, the list was bad. Look, I would have had Booker at 6. De'Aaron Fox I thought was too high. And I would have had Trae Young and Ja Morant in my top 10.
Yeah, Ice Trae.
Totally
Ice Trae.
Both of those guys.
Yeah, you overlook. Skip been overlooking Ice Trae since he was at Oklahoma.
Because I watched every game that he played. Maestre. Yeah. He's finally becoming a basketball player who's part of the team instead of the whole show.
Yeah, he the show.
Yeah.
He the show.
Not the show.
And State Farm, when you go to State Farm.
Yeah, all of his numbers are completely down, and one number is up. Wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got more help. I mean, he got Bogdan, he got Gallinari playing well, John Collins.
We appreciate you joining the show. We needed you to weigh in on this one. We needed you. Thanks for your time. We'll check in with you soon.
No mercy.
Pro Football Focus released their grades for the best position groups in the NFL, and the defending Super Bowl champion Bucs came out on top in 2 categories. First, their defensive front 7 was lauded for having a now healthy Vita Vea to go with Shaq Barrett, Lamonte David, and Ndamukong Suh. And then their pass catchers were held in high regard, even if Antonio Brown walks, in part because they'll get tight end O.J. Howard back in the mix. So Shannon, does this in any way diminish Brady's achievements last year?
Hold on, wait a minute now. Hold on.
Wait.
This the Succaneers. The Succaneers. The team that have the worst winning percentage in North American sports history. The Succaneers.
They did when he came. When he arrived, that's what they were.
So they had no talent. So I just want to know, so what is this? So what is this front 7? So how many of them was a part of that history? Oh! Whoa, wait a minute, Skip Bayless. Now, Pro Football Focus says he has the best front 7 in football. He has a top 3 pass catchers, even if AB walks. Tom Brady went there. See, what Tom Brady tried to do, he had you fooled, like when Phil Jackson went to the Lakers. Tom Brady, he's your old man, Phil. No, you got Shaq and Kobe.
Oh, so the Buccaneers or Succaneers are the equivalent of Shaq and Kobe.
What was Shaq and Kobe? How many championships had they won before Phil got there?
Okay, but that's what I'm asking you that question. So they're the equivalent.
The talent was there. The only reason Phil Jackson went there is because there was talent. Name the time Phil Jackson, he's had other opportunities to coach. He won't coach them unless he got two top 50 players. That's the only way he coaches. I'm not saying Tom Brady, Gronk was coming. But Skip, all I'm saying is Tom Brady has got the credit for doing the most. Nobody does more with less. Now he has more. He has more, not less. He has more. No, this doesn't diminish what he's done. Not for me. That's why people are upset with Jameis, because Jameis had that same talent, and he threw 30 picks along with another 5 or 6 fumbles. So, no, that's the problem that I have with Jameis. He had that talent. Tom Brady, the only thing Tom Brady did was not turn the football over, Skip. That was it. Jameis would have thrown for 40-plus touchdowns. If he cuts that in half, Jameis might have 45, 50 touchdowns.
So Tom just dinked and dunked and handed off. Is that what you said?
Skip, that's not what I said, Skip. All I'm saying is that Tom Brady, his offensive line is rated very high. His pass catchers are rated very high. His defensive front seven is the best in football, they say. That's all I'm saying. The level of talent that Tom Brady inherited was there. Tom Brady had success. He won. But don't try to make it seem like he had nothing. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
So day after day on this show, I sit over here listening to you tell me that Pro Football Focus has no idea what it's talking about. So suddenly they do have an idea?
That's what I'm scared. All I'm saying is that you said he has no talent.
I didn't say he had no talent.
No, you told me they're Succaneers. So Succaneers mean you ain't got nothing.
Well, I mean, he joined a franchise that was known for losing, with a losing mentality in the locker room.
Skip, they got Hall of Fame players.
We're going back to Derek Brooks.
And Brooks, Leroy Selman.
Okay, but since that, what was that, 2002? That was a long time.
Yes.
That's like 18 years of sucking ears, right?
But Skip, do they have talent on this roster? How many teams would you say, man for man, has more talent than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yet, when Tom Brady chose to go to Tampa, I don't remember Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp saying, he just picked a team that is loaded.
I said that. I said that's a talented team. You look at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, two guys that have come up to Pro Bowl.
I don't remember defensively you said it's just loaded.
No, Skip. They underachieved last year. But Jameis put him in harm's way. Skip, you can't defend that much with 30 picks. Now just think about it now. Probably about 3 or 4 of them was pick sixes. So now you don't have to defend that. You just sing your PAT block. But the other 26, you got to defend short fields.
Okay. I told you the first time we talked about Tom goes to Tampa, I said, do not underestimate Todd Bowles' defense, because down the stretch of that 7 and 9 year, the last 5 games, they came alive.
Right.
And they were a top 5 defense for 5 straight games.
Right.
A small sample size, but I said, they can play.
Yeah.
And yet there were times last year when I sat right here in this seat and I said, I don't know if they're good enough defensively to get the offense to the championship.
Well,
I just don't know.
And some of that, Skip, is because when Brady turned the ball over, if you look at it with the exception of Green Bay, he played an error-free playoffs. He didn't turn it over against Washington. He didn't turn it over against the Saints. I don't think he turned over against the Saints. I know he had 3 and like back-to-back possessions. But the defense rose and kept him out of the end zone. And then you saw what the defense did in the Super Bowl.
Okay, but just for the record, I would come in here after the game is week 2 against Teddy Bridgewater. They gave up 427 yards, and it took Brady throwing them out of the hole to win that game.
Oh, you remember the Chargers? Okay. Remember Justin Herbert skipped through for like 350?
In the first half, I thought they were cooked.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady brought them back in the second half, albeit against a Chargers defense that wasn't very good.
But the defense right before the half, Skip, remember they ran the ball and the defense made a big play.
Okay. Then we go to week 9 against the Saints on that Sunday night. Was that not a disaster?
Right.
That was 420 yards they allowed. And then we followed up week 11. Remember what Jared Goff did to him? Was that a Monday
376,
night?
yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was 413 total yards.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Chiefs game. Again, they roared back in the game, but the Chiefs wound up with 543 total yards. And I'm still saying, are they good enough? Which led me to that. Remember, they had to play Atlanta 2 of the last 3 games. The game at Atlanta, they're down 17-0 at half. And Matt Ryan is just throwing a party on that defense, and they are getting no pressure at all on Matt Ryan. And I'm saying, I tweeted at that point at halftime, I don't know if this defense is good enough to get them home.
Right.
Because I thought they had a chance to make a run in the playoffs, but you can't do it that way. And Brady throws for 300 in the second half, and they roar back to win because Atlanta had the worst pass defense in pro football. So I give you that. But he kept saving them at times, and sometimes he played poorly by his standards.
And they saved him.
Okay, I got it. But remember, he did lead the whole league in air distance, so he is airing it out. He's throwing bombs after bombs after bombs, and he wasn't turning the ball over because he doesn't turn the ball over.
But that was the difference.
That's what he does.
That was the difference. In the process of Jameis Winston's, he was throwing bombs, but they were getting picked off.
I got it.
Tom Brady's bombs were hitting the ground, was incomplete, or on occasion, Chris Godwin would catch a few of those passes.
Okay.
Scotty Miller would catch a few of those passes.
But am I hearing that you think that Brady's performance last year was flukish or an aberration?
No. Skip, what I'm saying is the days of Brady doing more with less, he has to have more. He wasn't taking New England's roster to a Super Bowl.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. The roster that they got in Tampa is much better than what he had in New England. I think he realized I still believe he would have stayed. Obviously, he would have stayed, Skip, if they gave him extension.
Agreed.
But when you survey it, hold up, I'm free. You mean to tell me Tampa? Hey, Tampa, y'all want your boy? Y'all got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brake. I know.
But the NFL was shocked by that choice, right? Because they didn't see that coming.
Skip. But Tom Brady is looking at it like Tom Brady knows talent.
Okay, he is a film study.
Yeah, he knows talent.
He knows, and he's saying, "I'll take that."
Same.
He was surrounded by the most talent he has ever been surrounded by, but it took about 2/3 of the year for it to finally coalesce, where it came together and exploded.
I believe,
right?
Player for player, when you look at what Peyton Manning did,
Yep.
Skip, now Reggie Wayne and Harris and Dallas Clark and Edgerrin. They might, you might say, okay, but when you look at the totality of the defense of a team, Peyton has never had it. When you put Von Miller, you put D. Ware, and you put Aqib Talib and Chris Harris Jr. and all those guys with that offense, and that's what Tom did. Tom like, I ain't never had this. Now, I might have had a player here and there that's better than what I got in Tampa, but collectively, no chance.
And O.J. Howard is coming back.
Yes. Now we're gonna see how he comes back after the Achilles, but
Still.
But he is.
I love him.
No mercy.
The Clippers blew out the Blazers 133-116 last night, and we got our first look at DeMarcus Cousins after signing a 10-day contract with LA. The veteran big man finished with 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in limited minutes. And Paul George was quick to heap praise on Cousins' performance, saying, quote, "He's still one of the most skilled bigs in the league. He can finish, he rebounds. I thought you saw a little bit of everything from him tonight." And he showed he's still got a lot left to give. Meanwhile, George scored 22 in the first quarter, and the team also got contributions from the return of Patrick Beverley and the recently acquired Rajon Rondo as well. So, Shannon, listen up. How much more did the Clippers scare you now than they did last year?
So I'm supposed to be afraid? Hold on. Now, this is what Skip... Now, I'm not the basketball aficionado that Skip Bayless says. He's been covering this game and been all around the world writing about it. He told me, like, meaningless games on a Tuesday in April or March or January, February, December, they don't mean nothing. That's what you tell me all the time. Oh, you talking about a meaningless game on a Tuesday? It means nothing. That's what you told me.
Wait. Is it my turn?
No. Okay. So that's what you told me. So now all of a sudden, now all I can remember, I just keep playing this over and over in my head. I just see Paul George shooting a 3 and hitting the side of a backboard. That's all I see. I wake up like, oh, did that really happen? And it happened.
Wait, you mean the same Paul George who scored 22 in the first quarter last night?
Hold on.
How many humans can do that?
Let me ask you a question. So does he call himself regular season P or playoff P?
We saw playoff P last night.
No, we did. No. Yeah. The last time in the playoffs, we saw P-E-E.
Okay, I'll give you that, but there was no Rajon Rondo,
oh my God,
who is slowly but surely taking over my Clippers, just what Dr. Freud or Dr. Phil or Dr. Dre ordered for my Clippers. You know it, and I know it. So yesterday I read Lakers ad Ben McLemore.
Oh, yeah, Ben. What would we do with Ben? What will we do with Ben? Okay.
And we had the boogeyman. We got DeMarcus Cousins, and he comes in and just dominates for 7 minutes and 37 seconds and looks like every bit of DeMarcus All-Star Cousins. And guess what? Patrick Beverley was finally back last night. And can we see what he was doing to Dame? He just put a number on Dame.
That was blitzing it.
Dame, look at this. He just face guarded Dame all over. Just took him out of everything that he wanted to do. Just psychologically destroyed him into a 2 of 14 performance. And then guess what he does? We're going to see it in just a second. He's going to steal the ball here. He's just all over poor Dame. Poor Dame. I felt sorry for him. Here we go. Here's the little pit bull steal. And watch this. Watch this. What's he going to do? Oh, I'm going to go to the corner. I'm going to shoot a 3 right in your face. That's what Pat Bev does. They had Lawrence Frank on the Clippers telecast last night, and he's saying he is the heartbeat of our team. He is, and he was finally back.
Hold on, was he in the bubble last year? They had the heartbeat last year. What happened?
You know what happened. They didn't want to be in the bubble.
Well, he had a heartbeat.
He was in and out.
Well, y'all need to have a John Q moment. Y'all need to have a change of heart.
Is Kawhi Leonard entering the MVP discussion?
No.
Because all he had last night was 29, 12, and 7. Led them with 7 assists just because Rondo is just now getting his feet wet. We got Big Zoo. We got Ibaka still out. He's still out with a back injury. If he comes back, this will be by far the deepest team in pro basketball. You are getting scared.
You were the deepest team in basketball last year. What to get you?
Not like
Cancun.
this. Not like this.
Y'all, see all that talking. See, all you do is talking. I'm just buying my time.
I'm showing. I'm not telling. I'm showing.
Health is the only thing that's stopping us. Once we get old Goat, Baby Goat, and Big Drum back, it's over for you.
Oh, you mean Kareem Abdul-Drummond?
Yep.
Oh, that guy.
Yep.
Is he really going to be that much of a difference maker?
Hey, he might be a Drum Shack.
Okay.
He might be
Drum
Shack.
Okay. Well, how's he going to deal with Big Zoo, Andy Baca, and DeMarcus Cousins?
Shaquille Drummond got it. I just need Shaq to put a call in, tell him what he need to do. But that's okay. Skip, don't worry about it. What y'all going to do with GOAT? Who y'all got to stop AD? Just tell me that. Who y'all got to stop AD?
Well, name them. I just named 3 players who could stop him.
Y'all ain't never had anybody stop GOAT.
We got the 2 best defensive wings in basketball.
And everybody be crazy.
Yeah.
Watch with Devin Book. Hold on. Don't y'all got Book? Y'all got Book them coming up soon. But y'all got Book them on tomorrow. Watch what Book give you the business.
Book it. We'll win that.
You remember last time I saw y'all against Book? You remember hit that game win on y'all? Right in Paul George's eyes. He's like, my eyes.
That was some Tuesday night in January.
No, Skip. That was in the bubble. Jason Tatum gave y'all the business earlier this year. Everybody, hold on. Bradley Beal gave y'all the business this year. James Harden, Kyrie Durant gave y'all the business this year.
Shannon, this year is going to boil down to we got Rondo and you don't got Rondo. That's the bottom line to this year. The story has already been told.
Which team got LeBron? I'm taking that team.
I don't know. Do you have LeBron? I don't know what happened to him.
Don't you worry about it. You saw him look at the dress yesterday.
His ankle got turned and he's just gone? I think they said you need a big vacation because you're going to need it.
See,
you're starting to show your age at 36.
I hated this. But I told you what you was going to do. I knew what you were going to do. The moment we beat the brakes off your team, he got the biggest break, just like last year during the pandemic. He got a break because he was playing all those minutes, and he was trying to win the MVP. And he got this break. You're going to do that again. But don't worry about it. You can say all you want to as long as we get that trophy at the end of the year. I don't care what you say. We're going to get another LV
What
case.
happened when, quote-unquote, GOAT was healthy at the beginning of the year? Fresh and healthy, and Playoff P did a number on you guys, just the way he's going to do a number in the playoffs.
Okay, Skip. Y'all the 2-time opening night champs. Y'all good for that. Y'all got a banner right up under our 17.
Yep.
2-time opening day champ, Christmas day champs, and almost champs. Y'all got 2 of those.
We're 2-0 against you already this year.
Okay. We don't care. What were y'all last year against? We don't care nothing about no records. You know we don't care about that. I kept telling you, LeBron, if I got LeBron, I don't care if it's the 1 seed, the 3 seed, a mustard seed. Watch our planet, watch it grow. We start the 8 seed and grow all the way to the champs.
I know you, and you're scared.
We're going to be the first team to be an 8 seed and win the championship.
Okay.
Has that ever been done, Skip?
Well,
Has that ever been done?
This is going to get fun.
Sweating.
This is going to get
Sweat.
more and more fun as the season progresses.
No mercy.
Joel Embiid scored 35 points in his second game back from a bruised knee, and the 76ers beat the Celtics 106-96 last night. With LeBron and James Harden both dealing with injuries, Embiid may just get himself back in the MVP hunt with more games like this one. So, Shannon, if he keeps this up, could Embiid win MVP?
Keep this up, they're going to get Brad Stevens fired. Celtics off, Skip. Look, he's already, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, I think he's missed 18 games, so he would need to play all the remaining games not to get that number to 20. So, but we know he doesn't probably not going to play back-to-backs to give him an opportunity to rest that knee, Skip. Only MVP with fewer games, Karl Malone played 49, but that was a lockout season. Skip, I don't know. I think Jokic now, as Chris said, we were talking off air, is that seemed like every MVP frontrunner still has gotten hurt and been down for a significant period of time. We talked about Embiid, he gets hurt. We talk about LeBron got hurt. James Harden had gotten back into the discussion, James Harden gets hurt. I think right now is Jokic to lose.
Why can't Embiid climb back into this with 21 more games to play?
Is he going to play them all?
I don't know. Maybe he will if Doc wants him to win the MVP, which they well might want. He's averaging 30, 11, and 3. He's shooting 39% from 3, and he takes a lot of threes. He's 85% as a 7-foot tall center from the free throw line. 85%.
What are you going to He's going to have to play all the games, Skip.
Okay. PER. He's number one in the league in PER. He's having an MVP season, but people don't want to give it to him because it's got to be LeBron or it's got to be
No, Skip. No, he missed a lot of games. And Jokic is playing really well and hasn't. Jokic is what, 27, 11, and 8? That's not chicken poop.
Neither is Philly's record.
We don't need any more injuries. That is it for Undisputed. We're back same time tomorrow. The Herd is on now. Have a good day.